convicted, suspended the Chicago certificate story is never going away, is it? Show with stories for the day.
You hear diverse voices and opinions.
And she was meeting her friend with her husband, knowing that.
You should not put happy because there is nothing to happy about.
Yeah, it's quite pathetic the way the country is going.
We distinguish each story accurately with analysis.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info. Globally, 1 in every 100 deaths is caused by suicide, according to the WHO. In Africa, suicide rates are higher than the global average, with over 34,000 deaths. Oh my goodness, that makes me worried. Yearly in sub-Saharan Africa. Nigeria has one of the highest suicide rates in Africa. Did you know that? About 6.9% suicides per 100,000 people. And this was from a WHO research from 2019. Substance abuse, we have realized, is a key risk factor. NAFDAC reports that Nigeria has about 14.4% of its population engaged in drug abuse, with cannabis, tramadol, and codeine leading that list. The WHO notes that alcohol and drug dependence significantly increases suicide risk, especially among young people. Joining me to have this conversation on why we're having a higher rate in suicide is my very good friend, David Folaranmi. He is a drug and substance abuse expert. I didn't get it right. I'm sure he will explain it. He will correct me. But we've had David on the show maybe more than twice, talking to us about substance abuse and drug addiction. But today we're taking it from a different perspective. David, it's so good to have you join us, and I really appreciate you for joining me at such short notice. Can you hear me, David?
Thank you very much. Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. There was a little break. Okay, great. So I'm just going to go straight to it, David, with those damning statistics that we have from your experience.
Hi, Maryann. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, now I can. You were paused for a bit, but I can hear you now.
You can hear me now, right? Just to be sure that you
Yes,
can hear
I
me.
can.
Lovely. So I was saying that I want to get right down to it. From your experience, why are we seeing rising rates in suicide in Nigeria, especially amongst young people? I mean, I know that the obvious is, the cost of living is rising high, times are hard, etc., etc. But what do you think is really informing the increase in the number of people that are killing themselves? Oh dear. I think that David is frozen. His connection is bad. Let's see if we... David, I think you were frozen for a bit. Your connection went off.
Okay. I didn't get all of the question because you were breaking for large bits of it. But I think you said, why do we have a high rate of
suicide? Yes. Let's try this again. If it doesn't work, we're going to have to use a telephone because this is... yeah. Okay, we're back. David, let's try this again.
Okay.
Go ahead. You can go ahead and answer.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you were saying, why do we have the damning statistics that you read out on prevalence of suicide in Nigeria, especially among the youth, and what it has to do with substance use? So like you said, I've been on the show quite a number of times, and we've talked about severally the alarming rate of young people who are getting into substance use, especially the ages of initiation into substance use. And I'll tell you for a fact that there's a direct relationship between substance use and suicidal ideations, right? So we run a rehabilitation facility, and 70% of people who have struggled with substance use have had a suicidal ideation at one time in their lives or the other. As a matter of fact, I'm a good example so that I don't use other people as examples. August 17th, 2017, that was a 8 years ago, just last month, I attempted suicide. And the reason I was attempting suicide, or the reason I attempted suicide, was because I had struggled with substance use disorder for 7 good years. I mean, I had tried every means I could to get out of it, but it all proved abortive. So, substance use disorder is a mental health disorder, you know. And then the more you use the substances, the more you find out that you can almost not come out of it. And then all of these ideations and thoughts start creeping in that why don't you just end it all on your own terms? You know.
The connection is really bad. Oh dear. And the conversation is so good. I do not want to miss anything. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is from me or from David's end. David, I don't know if this is from me or from your end because you keep dropping out of the conversation. I think that your connection is a little bad, or is it me? Because you keep dropping off the conversation.
Seeing your bars here, it's showing that it's red.
So it means it's us. It means our connection is bad.
Yes. That's what it's showing here. It fluctuates. Red,
yeah, because I see yours.
Like
yours is great. So I guess the connection from our end is really bad. Okay, let's try again. If not, I'm going to put you on the phone.
For instance.
Okay, let's go. So you were telling us that you're using yourself as an example because you have suffered with substance abuse for 7 years and you're clean. By the way, you are clean and you're helping other people to stay clean. But you're saying that this substance abuse plays a huge role in, you know, people wanting to end it all.
Yeah.
And how do you talk yourself out? How do you talk yourself out of that?
A point where how do you talk yourself out of substance use or out of the
suicidal thoughts?
Okay, so the thing is, it's almost impossible to talk yourself out of it, especially when you're using substances. Because I know somebody else who actually was suicidal and she went on with her plans and she killed herself. Wow. Yeah, she killed herself in London. You know, so the problem is when you're using substances, all of your mind is not working properly anymore, right? So at that time, you can't even talk to yourself. You can't talk yourself out of it because your mind is distorted. Everything you're doing under the influence of substances. When I started thinking about committing suicide in 2017, it was difficult to talk myself out of it because for majority of the time, as far as I remember, I was high on drugs. So when I actually carried out my plan, the only time I started regretting was when I fell to the floor and I started foaming from my mouth and all of that. But luckily, my family was able to rush me to the hospital, and then I was resuscitated. It took about 3 days of detox and all of those for me to get back, get myself back. But a lot of people were not this lucky. Remember, they were under the influence of substances, and so they could not talk themselves out of it. And that's why we need social support for people who are struggling with substances. I actually had a similar program on another network, and I was talking about family members, friends, health officials being able to talk to people consistently who are struggling with substance use and keep reminding them that it's not a death sentence, because it's already sometimes it's in our mind that this substance use is a death sentence. We don't see a way out of it. We don't see a way out of it. Some of us get into so much debt from our substance use that we just think, look, I can't do this anymore. It's time to end it all. And at that point in time, it's very difficult for you to be able to talk yourself out of it. It's easier, for instance, and I'm not belittling anybody's issues that leads to suicide. For example, you guys have breakfast, right? And then
please, can you elaborate? Can you elaborate? What do you mean by you got served breakfast?
Or your woman is gone. You guys serve the English breakfast, as a matter of fact. Very nice bacon and mushrooms and sausages and omelette and toast, and then all of a sudden, everything you have dreamt of in a relationship is up in flames. And then you get suicidal, for instance.
Oh, we're losing David again. Oh dear. Lagos, we apologize. The connection is a bit wonky today, and David's going in and out. But this time, I think it's from our end and not necessarily. We're hoping that our engineers can sort out our internet so we don't have this wahala going forward. David, yeah, you're back.
terrible. I'm so sorry. I didn't anticipate this was going to happen.
Well, it's coming from both ends. It's sometimes me, sometimes it's you.
Yes, now I can see, because yours is good now, but then mine just sent me a message that it's fluctuating. So I think it's coming from both ends.
Yeah. Anyway,
some days are like that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna quickly just fast track this conversation with the figure that NAFDAC has given us, saying that, look, the number of people who are engaged in drugs today is higher. I mean, I've had a conversation on the station about how dispatch riders are the ones who are now the drug peddlers. So someone calls a dispatcher and gives him drugs and say, you go and deliver. I mean, you can hardly go anywhere for a party, a celebration, that drugs are not given out as candy today. How do you think we got here? Because I don't know, but in my days, we didn't necessarily have drugs at parties. We had alcohol. But now we're seeing drugs as candy, literally handed out. Well, how did we get here?
Yeah. We didn't pay enough attention to it when we should have. We already live in a society that is morally bankrupt. So when these things start creeping in, the relevant stakeholders, including the parents, every time I'm on this show, I keep talking about parenting, including the parents, we didn't pay attention to it when it started creeping out. And I mean, I'm talking about the early 90s, mid 90s. It was already coming subtly into our society, and we weren't making enough noise about it. I mean, whenever you have a show, I think in the last 3 years, I've been on your show every year. We've not missed it. We're throwing light on it. So the media is playing a role. But for how long has the media been doing this? I mean, 10 years ago, were people talking about substance use and all of that? Were people talking about evidence-based preventive measures? Were people talking about rehabilitation, treatment, and recovery? So I think we did not pay attention to it when we should have. And then it has led us to this point we are now. It has led us to this point we are now. It's terrible. I mean, I was watching on the news yesterday in Delta State, a delivery bike that was arrested, and he was selling cannabis using his delivery bike. I told somebody who was around me, I said, this has been going on for a long time.
Wow.
This has been going on for a long time. We have 14-year-olds who have brought to us SS1 students who are eating cakes ingested with
laced with marijuana. Oh dear.
And then some of them are already showing signs of mental health illnesses like schizophrenia. So at some point you'll be surprised that those kind of people might start having suicidal thoughts, because at that age their minds cannot comprehend the illnesses they are going through. Like the case of the young boy that was brought to us, 14 years old. By the time we went to his school, a class of 25, 19 of them were on those cakes that had marijuana in them.
Wow.
And this is just a very small sample size in my state. We've had several issues of substance use in various forms, like you said, candies, and every other thing. So there's so much work to be done.
And you talked about the fact that these are mostly young people, the vulnerable groups. Young people are mostly at risk, students, unemployed youth. Some professionals who are breaking under pressure, women. What about the people in rural communities? Because I'm thinking to myself, what is the person in a rural community going to know about drugs? But unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of them under the influence. For example, you go to some parts of Lagos, you literally see people just walking like zombies. And this is something I would see in the DMV area in the US, or if you go to certain parts, but I'm beginning to see that here, especially in Lagos.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to deal with that? For example, if a government decides that this is what they're going to do to rescue young people, where do they start to look?
So, Maryann, the question is, who picks up the check? Who pays the bills? Rehabilitation is expensive. I mean, evidence-based rehabilitation is expensive. There's an OAP who reached out to me from Lagos as well, and she was in tears. I couldn't pick out what she was saying, crying about her youngest brother, who is struggling with substances. I mean, the guy is 16.
What?
And I said, okay, let's get him into rehab. This is what it costs. She couldn't call me back. And one day we were praying and we just remembered her. And I called her and she said she couldn't afford it. So the guy is on the streets at 16. It's probably
Oh dear. We have lost that connection again. Unfortunately, the internet connection today has been really, really crazy. Just flinging my my guest in and out of the meeting. Sorry, so sorry, David.
to all our listeners. I'm so sorry.
Well, I mean, we can't control it. Unfortunately, this is where we are. So you're
We can't
saying that
control the things.
rehabilitation is very difficult. It's very expensive. So who picks up the bill? But there are places that
Okay, so
churches.
now yours is showing poor network on
Oh
my
my
end.
goodness. David, let's try for the next 3 minutes, and then I'll probably place a call to you. We'll probably get you on the telephone because this internet drama is not working. But can you hear me now? Can you hear me? All right. We're going to try to get David back on the phone. We're still talking about suicide and how, the biggest tie to it is drugs and substance abuse. David is back. David, for the next 3 minutes, let's try and see if we can manage this internet, and then hopefully we can fix ourselves via telephone. Yeah. So you're telling us that it's very expensive.
Oh, you're gone again.
Oh my goodness.
I can't hear you anymore.
But I can hear you very loud and clear. I can hear you, unfortunately. This is so frustrating. Anyway, we'll take a quick break. Credible journalism, bridging the gap between people and those in authority. With Hard Facts, you are sure to get only the facts.
Tune in to Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Join the conversation no matter where you are. Download our mobile app by searching Nigeria Info FM on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Also, get news updates in sports, entertainment, news, and current affairs right on the app. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
All right, I now have David on the phone. Hopefully, this doesn't also break up. David, I think this is way better. Let's see what we can do. Manage this.
Okay.
You were talking about rehabilitation and why it's expensive. I have just 1 minute 46 seconds before we go on a break. Go ahead and quickly tell us why that is expensive. My goodness, David.
Evidence-based treatment is actually expensive to encourage. You hear me?
So I think that this connection is from you because you were breaking the whole time. But try again.
Oh my days! So the evidence-based treatment is expensive. You still can't hear me.
Try. Okay, David, obviously the connection where you are is really, really poor and it's unfortunate. But if you are watching us live on Facebook and on YouTube, you want to join the conversation, post your comments. We're talking about suicide, the increase in suicides across the country, which is tied to the increase in drug use and substance abuse. My guest is an expert in this area. He himself being a one-time substance abuser who is now clean and trying to help other people to rehabilitate. These are issues that we're discussing this afternoon. Hopefully I can get him back on the telephone right after this break. Lagos, stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is your number one station. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Facts. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Station for talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. They said insurance was broken. We answered, not with noise, but
with action. 1 year ago, we made a promise. Not empty words, but a Rex promise. A promise to be resilient, to rise, rebuild, and restore trust. We vowed to be efficient, cutting the clutter, slashing the weight, turning "we'll get back to you" into "it's already done." We set a new standard. Excellence. We walked with integrity. And yes, we did it with teamwork. Not just behind our desks, but with you, our customers, at the center of the vision. From claims to customer care, from service to smiles, from launch to legacy. This is how we've kept the Rex promise alive. Because this is not just insurance, this is Rex, where resilience meets results, efficiency meets experience, and your peace of mind is our promise delivered. Rex Insurance, 1 year stronger, one promise kept, one brand you can trust.
Start your day and have a good time. Kivo Creamer. Where you need to have the break time. Kivo Creamer. If not tea, Papa Garita. Kivo Creamer. Kivo Creamer.
In the cooking game, you need a winning game plan. I'm not just talking about your fresh ingredients, utensils, or cooking skills. I'm talking about your choice of seasoning. My game plan is incomplete without Maggi chicken flavor. Made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric, it's my game changer. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious, rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, my game changer.
Malta Guinness is now 600 naira. Now you get the same refreshing, nourishing, rich premium Malta Guinness for just 600 naira. Available at stores near you. Malta Guinness, here for every kind of you.
It is an incontrovertible fact that the future of power is solar. It is becoming increasingly clear that solar is the way to go if reliable, clean, and uninterrupted power is our goal. Our homes need power. Our offices need power. Our public buildings need power. Our lives and activities need power. And of course, I mean reliable power. Now, at the Solar World Electric Technology Limited, we have cut our teeth as professionals in the business of solar and renewable energy, ranging from inverters, lithium-ion batteries, solar panels, solar water heating systems, solar street lights, etc. You can visit our regional head office at the 26 Ima Abimbola Code off Fola Oshibo, Lekki Phase 1, Lagos, or our website on www.solarworldelectric.com, or you can call us on 0906 331 5492. Solar World Electric Technology Limited. We are redefining the limits.
This is what goodness tastes like. Golden caramel, creamy buttermint, and rich coffee. There's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
Cadbury caramel, Cadbury coffee, Cadbury buttermint. Sweet, smooth, and full of flavor. Whether you're chilling at home or on the move, there's a Cadbury candy for every mood.
Yeah, there's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
Share your next holiday trip with South African Airways and enjoy a special discount on any of our holiday destinations. South African Airways offers special fares for individuals, family, and groups to experience the best of Africa, from the beautiful sunrise in Cape Town to the breathtaking natural beauty of Victoria Falls. Fly your family to enjoy the magnificent beaches and crystal clear waters in Mauritius. Plug into the historical events and places in Harare and Lusaka. Wow, it's a holiday like never before in Africa. Contact us on telephone 201-270-268125 or email reservationslagos@flysaa.com. Log on to flysaa.com or reach out to your nearest travel agent. Make it a memorable holiday with South African Airways. South African Airways, connecting Africa to the world, one flight at a time.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4, with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4, nourish your child's potential.
To dey healthy, not be for show. Na life wey you suppose dey live. And if you dey cook light with power oil, then you sabi wetin dey healthy. they stay active, it means say you stand fit. Chop light, they move body, no excuses oh. Power oil, get your kitchen. Now you get am, feel am, enjoy am. Make you day confirm, make you day 100% fit. Power oil, now your lifestyle choice.
Power oil.
Mom, are you going shopping?
Yes, darling.
Can you get me a Capri Sun beach ball, please, mommy?
For sure. Wait, where do I get a Capri Sun beach ball?
There's a free beach ball inside every carton of Capri Sun, Mom.
That's right. The Capri Sun Beach Ball promo is here. There's a free beach ball inside every carton of Capri Sun. Terms and conditions apply.
Capri Sun, the taste of fun.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Yes.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids Milo 3-in-1, milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further. Milo! Every day is about winning with one play on Nigeria Info. On Nigeria Info, daily winnings is now over 150,000 naira. Just go to oneplay.ng or dial *347*880*3#. Play with as little as 500 naira, and in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. The more you play, the better your chances of winning every day on the Morning Crossfire, WhatsApp Lagos, and Game On shows on weekdays, and the Football Frenzy shows on weekends. But that's not all. Every Friday, there will be a 500,000 naira jackpot. Playing during the week automatically qualifies you for the weekly jackpot. Your chances of winning are the same, whether you play on oneplay.ng or dial *347*880*3#. Remember to play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18. OnePlay is a registered trademark under Lasho Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Party people. Jollof, gone. Pounded yam, gone. But water, unfinished bottles, abandoned like Sia wrapper. Ha!
The new 33CL Nestle Pure Life Premium Drinking Water. Big enough to refresh, small enough to finish. No waste, no wahala. And with our trusted 13-step quality process, every drop is refreshingly safe. Nestle Pure Life Premium Drinking Water. Source of hydration you can trust.
Is that Alfie playing football in the rain?
It's Tobichio.
My goodness. When did he grow up?
That's it with kids, though.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Hey, yeah, now Rabi, with Orabi, my teeth strong, my mouth is fresh, he clean well, oh, now Orabi, strong teeth Orabi, fresh breath Orabi, 24/7 with Orabi, strong teeth Orabi.
Give on our teeth 24 hours protection. Use Orabi today. The Nigerian Dental Association. Tanda Gidigba with Orabi. The conversations you hear on Nigeria Info.
United Nations, Atiku Obi, and of course, a senator from Borno State, Senator Lindume, all are outraged over the killings that happened over the weekend in Borno State.
Both UN and United Nations, all of them are shookers because all of them know the problem of this country. They know how it starts. All of them are involved.
These people
of course, Nigeria, I don't think they have the interest of Nigeria at heart. As far as they are concerned, Nigeria is a business enterprise, and they're only interested in milking the country.
The Lagos APC has denied claims that it's actually attacked ADC members in Alimosho.
Even if you're not pointing fingers to the APC, the police should swing in to find out who did this, right?
Conversation never stops. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. This is Hard Facts.
We're back. If you're just joining us, this is the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. David Folaranmi has been talking to us about substance abuse and how this could tie to the increase in the rate of suicides across the country. But how do we deal with the issue of substance abuse? Most importantly, something that's you need to take note is that it's rampant amongst young people. How do we deal with it? He talks about parenting, because it's spreading like wildfire, whether we like it or not. It's being shared as candy. You go to a little party or whatever, they're sharing it as candy. You have to be careful what you take when you go out in public these days. How do we deal with this issue? But before we lost David. We were talking about, how you can tell, or rather why rehabilitation is so expensive. Yes, that's where we left off. So, David, welcome back.
Sorry, I'm in the car. So
Yeah.
just in case you hear
Go ahead.
from outside.
Go ahead.
Let me quickly roll back on some of the things that were said before we went back in how we can deal with it. It's very important to engage in prevention. I've said that many times on this show. Prevention is the key. Let's talk about just 1 minute. Talk about prevention before we go into rehabilitation. So prevention is the process of stopping the initiation of substances or making sure it does not graduate into a disorder. And for us to get prevention right, the family must play a part. That's the parents, the community, the schools, the media, which is what you're doing, and our religious organizations. Our religious organizations have a role to play. So if all these 5 cardinal points play their roles efficiently, we will be able to prevent substance use in our society, at least to the barest minimum. But after prevention, what next? What about people who have started using? And that's where we came into treatment and rehabilitation. And I was giving you an example of an OAP who reached out to me about her younger brother who is 16 and needed urgent rehabilitation because he had already given to the streets. He was already on the streets. And I told her what it will take. And then I didn't hear from her. When we reached out to her, she said she couldn't afford it. And the young boy is just walking around the streets of Lagos. Now, proper rehabilitation does not come cheap. I mean, globally. I'm not talking about just in Nigeria. Proper rehabilitation does not come cheap. It's expensive because you have to provide evidence-based treatment procedures, especially when you have to engage in medication-assisted treatment. Some of these narcotics that are needed for even to reverse overdose, like naloxone injection, and then opioid substitutes, right? They are quite expensive and they are not even available on the open market. So it's difficult to get these things. And for the few rehabilitation centers that have them, they are charging very expensively for these services. Of course, you also have the services of psychotherapists, psychologists to provide psychological care in terms of cognitive behavioral therapy, motivational interviews, etc., etc. And these consultants, these professionals charge very highly. So people who run rehabilitation centers and have the services of the relevant certified, please make sure that they are certified and licensed to practice, because there are too many quacks in the business. So many times people have come to us. I'm almost done. I know I've overshot my time.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
So many times people have come to us for treatment, and we find out that they have gone to other places, and those places, they've made the matter worse. We have rehabilitation centers where they are not carrying out any psychotherapy, any psychological intervention. Some people are already struggling with psychosis and there's no medication for it. So it becomes a problem in the long run. And sometimes, even within rehabilitation centers, let's bring it back home, people are already contemplating suicide because a place that should be a safe haven and a place where they should find rest, and get better from the illness of addiction has now become a place of torture, mentally and physically. There are rehabilitation centers that they flog people morning, afternoon, evening. That's their treatment method. That is not evidence-based. Please, for those of us that take our people to church and tie them up to a tree and they are praying for them morning, afternoon, evening, that is not how to go about it. I'm a man of faith. I pray, I go to church. In our facility, we had fellowship today. So we're not saying you should not pray. We are saying make sure whatever you do is backed up by evidence that is going to produce results. Thank you very much.
Interesting. I'm glad that you brought the spiritual part to it, because people say that suicide has a spiritual side to it. It may be, there are misconceptions as to why people commit suicide. Can we totally dispel that and say that there's no spiritual thing to it, it's just basically purely normal or mental rather?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not going to rule out the spiritual angle. We're in Africa, Maryann, and there's the spiritual undertone to a lot of things we do. While in most cases, it's not spiritual, as far as I'm concerned, it's mental, it's a mental issue. In some cases, it can be. It can be. So what I always tell people is, take the person to a certified and licensed mental health practitioner. Please, before you go, do your due diligence. Look them up on LinkedIn. Find out their track record of success in carrying out some of these interventions. Then take your child or your family member there. Then back it up with prayers. Do you understand? So while they are there going through evaluation, assessment, and treatment, you can now go to the prayer houses, whichever one you prefer, the mosque, the church, the shrine, whatever it is. Go and do your prayer, but let them be in a place where there is evidence that the treatment methods can work. So I'm not ruling out the spiritual angle, but I'm saying please take them to a licensed medical practitioner. Then you can back it up with spiritual prayers.
I want to come back to the health system gap. We have very few mental health professionals. According to the research that I did, there's less than one psychiatrist to 100,000 people. Also, Nigeria had passed the Mental Health Act in 2021, but then implementation has been slow. So for
it was always going to be a problem.
What are the most urgent steps that government need to take? Again, I know that you have said that we need to do our own homework from home, keep an eye on these kids, maybe be their what's that accountability partners here and there.
Yeah.
But then now that there's a lot that's on the plate of government, what do they need to address most importantly?
So awareness, they need to. So you see, when you go overseas, you see that mental health is taken very seriously, and there are government facilities. There's a budget, there's a figure in the budget for mental health issues, and then here in Nigeria, what's the figure? How much is dedicated to the entire health sector? Then from within the health sector's budget, how much is dedicated to mental health? So we need to do more as a government. One, in terms of raising awareness. That's part of the problems we have as NGOs and CSOs. We go into the communities and we try to talk people, just like you said now, somebody has a suicidal ideation, and the first thing a regular Nigerian would think that is spiritual. We need to do more of awareness. We need to do more of awareness on the grassroots level. Every primary health care facility in all of the local government centers of Nigeria should have a mental health help desk. Yes, it's very important in their local dialect. Please don't go there and speak English or Oyinbo to one mama in one village in Ebonyi State. No, bring in their local dialect. That's part of what we're doing in our organization. We're taking out the message in the local dialect of the people, the community where we are. But that's not our duty. It's the duty of the government. How many people can we reach out to? So the government needs to do more in raising an awareness on mental health and mental health issues. It's very important. And then secondly, we need to establish more treatment facilities. Maryann, it's painful that sometimes people call me and there's no bed space. Go to some of the neuropsychiatric hospitals, people are sleeping on the floor in chains. How are you supposed to get better? Why won't you start thinking of suicide? You are in chains, you're on the floor, you're throwing up on yourself. The nurses are not enough to manage the number of people. People are going left, right, center. It's a mess. We need to invest in treatment facilities around world-class treatment facilities for people who struggle with their mental health. It's very important. And this is on the government. This is on the government. The Minister of Health needs to wake up and do something about this.
Lastly, before because the phone lines are open and people are calling like crazy, I'm going to give them 30 seconds each because we're almost out of time. Social media has also been listed in my research as a trigger to some of these suicidal, because they're make-believe lifestyles that are put out there, and you're thinking that I've been working for so many years, nothing to show for it, and these people are just living large. Is this person that is flying private, does he have two heads? You know, those kind of things. And sometimes it might just even be the listless things, especially for these youngsters. It could just be that, oh, that person has an iPhone, I don't, you know. How do we also regulate for these youngsters their access to social media?
Unfortunately, Maryann, can we really regulate access to social
media? It's happening in the United Kingdom, actually. There's schools that are beginning to shut down bringing phones or having a certain type of phone. And government is also taking it up. So why can't we do that?
Okay, but in the United Kingdom, they have a system that works. Maryann, look at what's happening in Nepal. Look at what's happening in Nepal. What started it? Social media regulation. Now, in the United Kingdom and other Western countries, they have a system whereby they can regulate social media. I mean, look at North Korea. It's done there. In China, it's done there. But in Nigeria, we don't have the system to regulate it without the backlash that will lead to a bigger problem. So we have to weigh the pros and cons. If we're regulating it on the government level, then are we ready for what's going to come out of it? We remember it happened with Twitter. Let's not go into that, but we remember that it happened at some point. Now, if we're going to regulate social media, and talking about pressure from social media, I spoke about that in a program today, and I was humorously saying that the real pressure is on LinkedIn. Man, forget all these Instagram baddies. Oh, go on LinkedIn, you see your mates that have 3 PhDs, and you start thinking about your life. Now, what have you been doing with your time? That's where the real pressure. I have to start looking for how to apply for a PhD because, man, all my mates have left me behind. So that's pressure. That's another level of pressure. But back to your question, yes, the regulation must come from the homes. It must come from the homes. We've seen too many times that young people are exposed to phones and internet and social media too early. They've not been trained on how to decipher what is happening on social media. Do you know that even commercials can pressure people? Like it's one of the reasons why people get into substances, alcoholism and things like that, because we don't understand that commercials are make-believe. Yes, it's not real. But then our young people see it and they swallow it hook, line, and sinker. They want to do what is being shown in the commercial.
I'm going to remind you of something, David. I used to have a Marlboro, thing in my bedroom, and it used to be slick to want to smoke. I've never smoked. I'm just saying, people felt that it was. Saying, right? So people thought it was cool to smoke a Marlboro cigarette at the time.
You see what I'm saying? Exactly.
Yeah. So
cowboy feeling on a Marlboro with the cowboy hat and a nice horse. And then look at alcohol commercials. Look at how beautiful they look, with the bling blings and then the nice Nike shoes coming out of the nice Benz with the nice babes. Which young boy doesn't want to live that type of life? You have all those. And then you equate it with drinking. You now feel like if I take this alcohol, I'm going to be like this. So you see, there's a lot we need to do in terms of regulation. Do you know that in Norway, you can't advertise alcohol? Look it up. You can't. You're going to get sanctioned. You're going to get fined by the government. You can't advertise alcohol. Not on social media, not on mainstream media, not on billboards. So we need to start getting to that point where we regulate some of these things that are causing our young people to get into trouble.
All right. Well, you heard David. I have just about 4 minutes on the clock. Everybody, you can call 0201-277-0993. 30 seconds each. Just go straight to the point. I'm sure David can hear you. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Okon. Please, my dear sister, we need to enlighten ourselves because the way, let's say, sometimes to come now, the way people go take mad is too much because of the substance within they take. Please, so let us enlighten them so that they can resist from it.
All right. Thank you very much, Okon, for calling. We do appreciate it. And that's one of the things that we're doing here. Enlightenment. 0201-277-0993. 30 seconds. Go straight to the point. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, Maryann.
Go ahead.
What? Okay, this is Boyet once again from Afro Media. Well, you don't blame the people. Honestly, you don't blame the people. Even those who engage themselves in alcohol, it's not as if I'm soliciting for them all. But the government we have is not doing anything to ameliorate the suffering of the people. That is just the truth. The government is so detached from the people. I agree to your guest, but the truth is there. Until the government feels that the people are important to them. Otherwise, more people are going to get mad. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, Boyerson. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, Madam Lucky, please. I have to be very fast. I think most of why we are having this rise in Nigeria today is because of a parental collapse system. The system of parenting has collapsed in Nigeria, and that thing that will make you to go to school, to go and challenge the teacher of your child, the parents of your child, when the teacher complains that this child is doing the wrong, those things are fueling it. And when we are giving allowance to our children, let us find out what they are, because when you give too much allowance to them, he attracts friends to them, and those friends they are moving with, they are the ones that are connecting them to it. So let's watch out our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Lucky, for calling. I appreciate it. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts. I'm so sorry. Do call me back if that was you. Hello.
Yeah, hello. This is George calling from away.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. You see, there's nothing wrong with alcoholic some sort of a thing. It's only that too much consumption of it can be very harmful. That's the only thing. And then what is going on in the society, we ourselves, as we said, the church, the others of the religious leaders, they're supposed to do something on it. So those are the things now. Consumption is not bad, but too much of it is bad.
Abuse.
So
That's why it's called abuse. Thank you very much. I do get it. Hello. Sorry about that. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, Megan.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
This is Citizen Gabriel from Olora. If those people that are collecting taxes for government are always with Igbo and alcohol, are government not encouraging them or encouraging others that without Igbo and hot drink, you can't collect government tax. You must be by force, by fighting. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. David, before we go, just in 30 seconds, what do we leave this conversation with today going forward? How much attention should we pay to... Do you want to respond to anything really quickly?
No, I think they were all contributions and they've all spoken well.
Yes.
Yeah, there were no direct questions. I mean, today is the suicide day, interventions for suicide. I want to say to anybody who is struggling with a substance use problem that it is not a death sentence. I was in it. Google my name. I was there for 7 years. My case was bad, but by the grace of God and through the intervention of relevant medical professionals, I have come out of it, and many others are coming out of it. So it's not a death sentence. Reach out to get help. I humorously say you must cry out to get out. So, reach out to Maryann, reach out to Nigeria Info. They'll direct you in the right way. You might not know. Some people don't know where to go. And that's why we have media outlets like this that are intentional about putting the word out. So reach out to them. Go on any of their social medias. Just say, look, I have a problem. And I'm very sure they'll be discreet about it. They'll direct you in the right way to go so you can get help. That's for those who are already struggling. For those who have not tasted it, it's a one chance boss. Don't enter it. Yes, I know 4 people. August 31st was International Overdose Awareness Day. People die from it, so don't start it. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Maryann. Thank you.
David, always a pleasure when we have to talk about these kinds of issues. And I must say, good job that you're doing.
Thank you.
Stay telling these stories, especially about yourself. That way, it helps a lot of people to connect with you and not feel like they're alone. David Folaranmi is a substance use and disorder expert or practitioner. He has been helping a lot of people over the years. Thank you, David, for coming on the show. We appreciate it. All right,
Thank you,
Lagos. We'll be right back after this
More
break.
conversation, more talk, more right after this. It's the choices you make that set you apart from being good to being great.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3